Hello, and welcome to my vlogging for... So you're going to be looking at this book today, The Cult of Lego. It's very interesting. Look at all the cool stuff in here. It's really informative, especially if you're a huge fan. Right now. And that might be the reason why this Lego bricks and minifigures closed. Having a heck of a time trying to edit the videos that I've been trying to put up because, you know, editing takes time. So those people who make content and the editing is sterling, they got my respect to edit video and all that jazz. So today is June.
Day.
Well, so you want to resell Lego. Probably around 2010s, it became very popular, reselling Lego. This is what I'm trying to get all the pieces together to build this Millennium Falcon. It's not even that valuable on the internet. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get $50 for it. But as you can see, I got a lot of Lego to go through. Yeah. Today we're going to be looking at this book right here, The Cult of Lego. It's very interesting. Interested in reselling Lego. You know, classic, buy low, sell high. Look at all the cool stuff in here. It's really informative, especially if you're a huge fan like I am. Today, I think that we're gonna look at, oh, how that happened. My page got dog-eared. Look at that. My page, it got dog-eared right there. That's a bit of a bummer. Yeah, it's one of those things that I got a little bit crazy. A little bit too enthusiastic, thinking that maybe some way, some shape, some form, I'll be able to have some fun building. And sell it at the same time. So if your business model is to insult your customers or steal from your customers, it's probably not a good business model. You got to have a little bit of confidence, and you got to feel like maybe there's a way possibly that if you are honest and you're upstanding and you have good people around you, you could succeed. Because I know all too often these,
Done
I tell
any of
you,
that,
it's probably even
Actually, I should
way
do that.
before that. I remember going on classified ads in the early 1990s, mid 1990s, and looking for Lego for sale. I don't think I ever bought any Lego that way, but it was quite something to think of Lego as plastic gold. I mean, for all my life, I really like Lego. My plan was just to buy one set every year. A small set, big set, whatever. Because back in the day, the sets came with a catalog of what sets were out. These days, all you get is the instructions, and then maybe the back of the instructions will have whatever play sets, whatever Lego sets are out for that particular Lego that you bought. So I think even gold, it only has value to the person that wants it. Even though there's all kind of things happening with gold now, like, oh, it's coming up in value and up and down in the market, all this stuff, but yeah, not a good look. Trading and buying Lego in the early 2000s was pretty popular. I wasn't even into Lego that much, but I do remember going on eBay in the late 2010s. No, wait, 2010s. Well, 2000s before the 2010s. I don't even know how they describe that, but you know, for the sake of this, I remember going to eBay and buying and selling Lego on the eBay machine in probably mid 2000s. It was quite fun. It was interesting. And then I moved away for a little while up to Washington State, and I sold Lego on eBay machine there too. The minifigures and stuff. Minifigures were going for huge, like, you know, if you even sell one minifigure for like $5 or $10, and you do that with multiple minifigures, before you know it, you'll have a couple $100. Takes some work. It's not just so easy, really, but from the way things are going on the internet and the apps on your phone, yeah, there is people looking for Lego. And I'm not kidding. Here in this part of Los Angeles, I feel like I'm the only one buying Lego sometimes, but it's quite interesting that there is a market for it. Adult collectors, or the AFOLs, the adult fans of Legos, which I would say that I am an adult fan of Lego. I'm in my 50s and I still have tons of Lego and all this stuff. So around the 2000s, the big sets really geared for adults. I mean, not a little kid's not going to drop over $100 for a modular set or a ultimate collector's edition. It's just one of those hobbies. You know, when I was on back in the day, it was the Yahoo Answers or whatever. It's like the community will ask questions about certain things, and I'm all like, is it wrong for a grown man to be into Lego? And they're like, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, because it's just a hobby like any other hobby. But it's crazy how many adults are into Lego. I mean, there are kids that are into Lego, but it just doesn't seem like it was back in the day. After a while, there was brick pickers in around 2011. That was when I started to get into Lego a lot. And if you watch my other videos, you'll see a little bit of my history. For this video is the bricks and minifigures. And the bricks and minifigures came out in the 2010. I remember the closest one to me was in Fullerton, California. I think that's one of the first ones I opened. I've been to it for the first time a couple months ago. I mean, it's fun to go to a Lego store that has old...
Gosh darn it, they're so darn.
...sets. It can be like a little bit of a museum in some cases. Like everything, they blow up with all this interest in Lego and everything, and then all of a sudden there's all these people trying to sling Lego. And well, I'm going to the bricks and minifigures today in Santa Clarita. I know that they're closed according to the internet, and I just kind of curious to see how the place looks. The evidence is that they may have closed in January. So I guess they were open less than 2 years. And when you open a business, you have to anticipate you're going to lose money the first year. And then by the second year, maybe you're going to break even. And I think about the third year, you don't start making any money until maybe the third year. But again, the guy that the bricks and minifigures, it's an interesting story. And it all started, I think it was 2024. bricks and minifigures experience that I had. As far as I know, the bricks and minifigures company started in maybe the 2010s, mid 2010s. On eBay, Lego was popular and still is. Maybe. I don't know. As a matter of fact, I haven't even checked that out either. So, a lot of details. I haven't really figured out those details. But the main idea of this vlogging is the whole thing with bricks and minifigures business model. The guy, when I met him, he was looking at my OfferUp. I think OfferUp and Let Go. I was using Let Go, and then Let Go app turned into the OfferUp app. Not really sure why there was two apps. But I put my Lego on the OfferUp, and the guy contacted me. As a matter of fact, see, that's another detail. I don't know if it was the Lego that I put on the Facebook. Because it was OfferUp. See that, you got to keep track of all that stuff when you're doing this whatever. So yeah, when you're creating a business, you have to really be in love with the product. I think that's the main thing that I learned from this experience, is that this guy, I don't want to say his name, I don't want to put him on blast, but if you kind of put, if you connect all the dots, you probably know who this guy is. He seemed like a sweet guy. He was down to earth. We had some pretty good conversation, and it seemed like we had a lot in common too. But the one thing to this day, I don't think he knew about Lego. I mean, from everything that I've observed, this guy probably thought that Lego was going to be a come up, that he was going to make a lot of money slinging Lego. But if you don't know the product, and if you hire people that claim to know the product, that's, it's just a recipe for a problem, because you can't be slinging Lego unless you really like Lego. I mean, you got to be a collector. You got to just know your product. When it comes to business, whatever business you're trying to do, you got to know your product. You got to like your product. Like, if you sell clothes on the internet, you got to know about clothes. You got to have a love for clothing. If you're a man, you got to just have a eye for clothing. Women, whatever product you're selling, women like to sell makeup. They gotta love their product. They gotta know their product. It's all about knowing your product, and especially with Lego, if you don't know your product, if you don't know the history, if you don't know what people enjoy, I don't know. I mean, you could hire people. This guy offered that I would be interested in maybe being some consultant. If he's willing to, pay me in Lego, that'd be cool. But that's not what happened. I mean, really, from the jump, it seems like this guy was destined to fail. And obviously, I don't know all the details. A lot of people slinging Lego is going to lose its value. It's not going to be worth as much as it used to be. But, it's really up to the individuals. You could put a premium price on everything, because I've seen Lego on the internet going for huge money now. It's just people trying to sling their bulk Lego.
Yeah.
And
I had a good look.
bulk Lego, and it'd be nice to sell it. But it's very... don't know anything about your hobby, you can't do very well at it. So thank you for watching, and if you got anything out of this, interact with this video, because yeah, it'd be fun to create community, because that's the thing that we have to do, is that get into your hobbies, you know, if you, whatever hobby you're into, because I know there's so many things going on, people with Pokemon, people with, I mean, shoes is interesting how that could be a money making thing too. But if there's something that you really enjoy doing, maybe you can make a couple bucks from it, maybe not. But have reasonable expectations always with everything you do.